Hello everyone. In this video I want to share a personal reflection about my journey through the first two Qliphoth, Lilith and Gamaliel. This was not only a theoretical exploration of the Qliphothic three, it was a lived inner process, a descent into the shadow layers of the psyche. During that period, I was writing a text that then developed into a book called in Portuguese Living Beyond the Shadows. Much of what I wrote came directly from the experiences, emotions, and insights that surfaced while working with these currents. What surprised me most was that beneath the symbolism, beneath the occult framework, really, the central theme that emerged from my own shadow was very human, the wound of abandonment. Before going further, I want to make something clear. Everything I share in this video reflects my personal experience while working with the Qliphoth. At the time, I was following a structured magical system developed within the Order of Dragon Rouge. Their teaching offer a framework for exploring the Qliphothic three in a systematic way. If you are curious about their work, I will leave a link below so that you can learn directly from their sources. However, I am not a spokesperson for the order, and what I am sharing here is simply my own reflection and interpretation of that journey. In many occult traditions, the tree of life represents the path towards spiritual illumination. The Qliphothic tree represents something different. It is not a path upward toward light, but rather a descent into the hidden strata of the psyche, the places where rejected forces, instincts, memories, and archetypes reside. The first gate of this descent are Lilith and Gamaliel. These two spheres form the threshold between the conscious self and the deeper subconscious world. When you cross that threshold, the shadow begins to speak. The first Qliphoth is Lilith. Exoterically, Lilith represents the primordial feminine force that refuses submission. She is the archetype of exile, independence, instinct, and the untamed aspects of psyche. In the Qliphothic context, Lilith often reveals what has been rejected, both by society and by ourselves. So, like you see, this is really an old wound of mine. Working with this sphere, we can feel like standing at the edge of a psychological mirror. For me, the presence of Lilith did not appear as an external entity or dramatic phenomenon. Instead, it appeared through patterns of emotion and awareness. Lilith began revealing something very clear, a deep sensitivity around abandonment and rejection. Situations that seemed ordinary on the surface carried an intense emotional charge underneath. Moments of distance in relationship, fear of emotional disconnection, a subtle but persistent need for control or reassurance. At first, these reactions seemed unrelated, but Lilith functions like a revealer of hidden structures. So gradually the pattern became visible to me. The shadow was speaking through the language of abandonment. What Lilith revealed was not simply a memory or a past event. It was a structure inside the psyche, a part of the inner landscape that had formed long ago and continued influencing perception. So in that sense, Lilith was not destructive, really. She was illuminating. She forced me to look at something that had been operating silently beneath the surface. Gamaliel. So after Lilith, the work moves deeper into the second Qliphoth, Gamaliel. Gamaliel is traditionally associated with the lunar current, the realm of dreams, illusions, fantasies, and subconscious imagery. Everything to do with me, because I work with hypnotherapy. If Lilith exposes the wound, Gamaliel reveals the inner world that grows around that wound. So in this sphere, the psyche communicates through symbols. So dreams can become more vivid. That happened to me. Memories may surface unexpectedly. Yeah, so suddenly you are at any other place and you can see what happened to you many years ago. Emotional patterns appear as symbol narratives with the mind. So Gamaliel acts like a mirror made of moonlight. It reflects not only what is hidden, but also the illusions of the psyche. The psyche that constructs something, illusions, in order to protect itself. So this is where the theme of abandonment becomes even more complex. I began noticing how the minds interpret situations through the lens of past emotional experiences, and I had to confront with my own. A small moment of uncertainty could be interpreted as rejection. Silence could be interpreted as distance. Distance could be interpreted as loss. These interpretations were not necessarily reality. They were happening to me, yes, but they were echoes of the shadow. So Gamaliel allowed me to observe those inner narratives as they appeared. And once you begin observing them, something shifts. The illusion starts losing its authority. That is the real work inside Gamaliel, at least the inner work. Like I said, if you want to know about the work, the structured work and the magic work within the order, please contact the order. So the purpose of this work is not to become trapped into darkness. In authentic the shadow work in his authentic is to integrate. The goal is integration. Lilith and Gamaliel reveal aspects of the psyche that were once pushed into exile. So stuff that I wanted to forget. But when I began to recognize them consciously, these forces stop operating from the shadows. Instead, they become sources of understanding. The fear of abandonment, for example, can transform into awareness of our deeper emotional needs. For me, it became possible to observe the reaction instead of being controlled by it. At the moment of observation, that creates space for choice and space for self-knowledge. So, crossing the first gates of the Qliphoth were not a dramatic descent into darkness as many of you imagine. So often it is quieter than that. It is the slow realization that parts of ourselves have been waiting in the shadows to be seen. Lilith reveals the rejected self. Gamaliel reveals the inner dreamscape surrounding it. Together they open the first door to profound psychological and spiritual transformation. And for me, this journey was the beginning of learning how to live, as the title of my text and book suggests, Beyond the Shadows. Thank you for listening. As of now, I'm progressing through Samael. For sure, I will talk to you about. So for sure, I will talk to you about that also. So, just like a highlight, the shadow must stop being a prison. For me, it became a teacher. For me, crossing these first gates become not about becoming something new, but about reclaiming parts of myself. I hope I could help you. If you want some other input from me about this, you can leave me a message, okay? Let's try to find out what's the real mystery of the Nightside path. Let's not escape the shadow, but walk through it.